The ATM is under your control. The channel is under your control. You know what software is running on the internet, on the ATM's machine. You know what operating system is running. Would you allow your customers to do internet browsing on that machine? Absolutely not. As a banker, you would not want your customers to use the ATM to do internet browsing. Now, because you don't trust the internet, period. Now, in case of internet banking, look at the user's PC. He has his hardware, his OS, and add the browser to its list. Now you can visualize what one is dealing with. If you are not going to allow the user to deal with your infrastructure for doing internet browsing, and now you are asking him to use his PC and his environment to do internet banking, we have a big problem here. So what do? As a young company, you can do a couple of things. You can take a very fresh look at the whole thing and say, I'm going to run 500 miles faster than the bad guys out there. And Mr. Mukhi today morning said we have to take the battle to the cyber criminals. How you can do that? How you can do that? You can do that by running faster than what they are doing. You can just simply extend yourself for the next 10, 15 years ahead, deliver a technology which they have to catch up on. So what we are saying here is not about a solution that fixes the existing problem. We are saying, let's think about a new banking technology altogether. And that's how we started. 4 years ago, my R&D team took a piece of pen and paper and said, what can we do to go 15 years ahead of time? And then look at the problem. And mind you, we were looking at increasing business for the banks. Most security solutions talk about reducing the cost of fraud or fraud. That's a given. If you are in the security business, you better give me a solution which solves the security problem. But is buying a security solution increasing my business, my top line? That is the problem we grappled with. So what we said? We said, look at TV, for example. TV, there was Doordarshan 10, 15 years ago. One channel, everybody has to look at it. Now there are at least 800 channels. So it went from generalization to specialization. Look at radio. An interesting thing, internet is the only communication channel which is not regulated. You can't start a radio station without having the government's permission, but you can publish a website without anybody's permission. Okay, so the radio went from a single public broadcasting channel to a specialized channel. You have now as many radio channels as the government has allowed. So what we are saying is the internet would evolve to a very specialized, dynamic, virtual private network. What it means? It means that layered on top of the existing public network, you have a public network. In old days, the entire village used to have one soap. Okay, then it graduated to having every house having a soap. Now we are talking about personal soaps. So we are saying, why can't we have a banking network? Is that so difficult? No, it's not difficult. Why can't we have a dynamically created virtual private network for the bank? Just for the bank's customers. Interbank communication does happen on Infinet, right? So why can't we have something similar for the bank and the consumers? The browsers, we are saying, it will move from being a generalized browser, which is whatever it is and not under control of the bank. We are saying it should become a banking browser. So we are talking about a private banking network, and we are talking about a private banking browser here. And the PC should have the technology to become a specialized security appliance on demand. Now, I'm not talking about futuristic here. Though we started with these statements 4 years ago, over the last 4 years, you have this technology with you. And that's what we have built over the last 6 years. And personally, I feel, mutual authentication will be a de facto identity standard. According to me, the entire Ramayana happened because of a flaw in the security. You can ask why. Sita failed to identify Ravana. Right? Now, imagine the damage it could have caused if Ravana would have come as Rama. So when you're looking at authentication, you need mutual authentication. What is authentication if it's not mutual? We believe in the police, when he asks me my identity. But do we ever ask him his identity? We never ask him his identity. We just look at him, he has a badge, he has a nice belt, a gun, and we just give our license. I fundamentally believe that authentication without being mutual is useless. There is no authentication which is not mutual. And when I talk about mutual authentication, I'm talking it at connection level. I'm not talking about site keys. I'm not talking about images. Because images, when the site key technology was launched by Bank of America, within 6 months there was a man in the middle attack available, and there are published documents that talk about that. So I'm not talking about application level